Hello, kindergarten. Today we're going to do our last art lesson, and it is going to be using some watercolor paints and some Q-tips, a little bit of water and a paper and a pencil, and we'll also need some scissors and glue, and we'll also need either a brown or a green piece of paper. Alright, so the first thing I want to do for this project, which is going to be corn. I know that sounds funny, we're making corn. But during the fall, a lot of people hang up dried corn, and it's not just yellow. Some people do hang up ones that are just yellow, but there's another kind of corn that grows that can be all different colors, okay? And so that's the one we're going to do today. So the first thing I have to do, I'm going to draw 2 corn cobs. So corn grows on these long, skinny cobs. I'm sure you've probably had corn on the cob before. So we're going to draw our corn. So I have my paper tall like a building, and I just want to draw. I'm thinking in my brain about the shape of corn. So at this end, I'm going to do a rainbow line. I'm going to do 2 of those. And these don't have to be exactly the same size. One could be longer, a little bit longer, or a little bit shorter. Okay? And then I know corn gets a little bit fatter as it goes down. So I'm going to have my lines come out, and so that the top is skinnier than the bottom. And I'm going to do that to both of my corn. So maybe I will make this one a little bit longer. So they're not exactly the same. Okay, so on the corn cob, the pieces of corn are called kernels. So it's the kernels that animals eat, people eat. We don't actually eat the cob part. But the kernels are those little tiny pieces. So on one piece of corn, I don't know, there could be 1,000 kernels maybe. So we're going to use our watercolor paint. And I'm going to use a Q-tip because I kind of want to make them look like dots. So I'm going to dip my Q-tip into my water, just a little bit to get it wet. And then I'm going to, I guess I'll just start with yellow. And then I'm just going to get some yellow paint onto the tip. And then I'm just going to start putting dots. Now, if your Q-tip runs out of paint, you're going to have to dip it a little bit again, go back into the yellow, kind of swirl it around a little bit, and then you can add some more. So I'm going to keep going with yellow for a little bit. And I'm just kind of putting them all over, not in rows. I know real corn, the kernels seem to grow in rows. I really like this project because the corn isn't all yellow. Alright, so I'm going to turn my Q-tip over and use the other side now. And this time I'm going to go into the orange. So I got my brush wet, I've got some orange paint, and I'm going to do the same thing. And if they go over top of each other, that's fine too. So if I accidentally put an orange over a yellow, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to do the other one. And if you go outside the line a little bit, that doesn't matter either because we're going to cut them out. Okay, so now I'm going to just put that Q-tip to the side because it's all used. And next, I'm actually going to go to blue. I don't know if you've ever had tortilla chips, but they can be all blue. And the reason that they're blue is because they use blue corn to make them. So this kind of corn can have blue in it, which I think is so cool. So I'm just going to keep doing the same thing with the blue that I did with the other colors. Okay, see how my Q-tip is getting that little piece of fuzz on it? So I'm actually going to turn it over and I'm going to use the other side, but I'm going to stay with blue. Well, I don't know, it's not working out so well. Try to keep it as a dot. I don't really want it to be like a different shape than a dot. Now, if you don't have any Q-tips, I should have said this at the beginning, you could actually just use your paintbrush. So I have my paintbrush here, and if I get it wet, and I just stick the tip in the blue, I can do the same thing. They won't quite look the same as far as dots go. They'll be a little bit different shape, but you can do it with a paintbrush too. Okay. So this side Q-tips, this side paintbrush with the blue. Alright, now I'm going to switch to purple. Get some purples in there. And actually, what's cool too about this corn is that it has white kernels. So everything we don't put dots in are going to be like the white kernels. All right. Go with purple. Another color that we can see in this corn is black. So I am going to add some black dots in here as well. Maybe not quite as many as the others, as the other colors I've used so far, but some. Now, I'm not using red or green, but if you really want to, you can. You can use all the colors if you want. So now that I'm getting close to being done, I am kind of looking for some white spaces to put the black into. Okay, so I think that that's good for me anyway. That's enough on there. So the next thing I'm going to do is cut out these two pieces of corn. I'm just getting rid of wanted to get rid of my Q-tips quick. So I'm going to get my scissors. Well, as soon as I can find them. Oh, scissors, where did you go? There you are. All right, I found them. And I'm going to cut out my corn. Now, you might want to wait until your paint is dry before you cut out your corn. Okay, so there's one piece. Now, if you wanted to do more than two pieces, you could. Lots of times I've seen these hanging up with 3 pieces of corn, 3 corn cobs. And they usually hang like that. The skinny side is down. So I'm going to use my glue. And right here where they're going over top of each other, I'm just going to glue them together. Okay. Now I'm going to use a brown piece of paper. You could use green also if you don't want to use brown. I'm going to fold it in half because I want to get 2 pieces. So if I draw it once and I cut it out while the paper's folded, I'm going to get 2 pieces. So I want to draw a corn husk, because when these corn are hanging upside down, they usually have the husks still on them. We take off the husks when we eat the corn on the cob. We take off the husk, which is like the leaves that cover it up. So I'm just going to draw, let's see, I'm just curving down, and then I'm going to curve up like that, and then I'm going to follow that back around. Kind of like that. So it sort of looks like a girl's hair from the side. Alright, so now I'm going to cut. I'm keeping my paper folded. And I'm cutting. Okay, so now I have two, and you want to have them turned over so that the curly part goes out on both sides. So then you take your corn and you put the husks over top of the corn a little bit. And then you want to glue that on. So I'm going to first glue them together. And then I'm going to glue that to the corn. So this is going over top of the corn. And then I'm going to use a brown colored pencil, and I'm just going to make some lines. That. And then if you wanted to, with whatever paper you have left over, you could add like a little piece sticking up. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess like the end of the corn, where at the big end it was attached to the stalk, you could have that sticking up maybe, so that people could hang it. So I'm going to just cut out a rectangle and kind of see what it looks like if we add that piece. So kind of like that, you could add if you wanted to. And then you could put a hole punch in that piece and hang it up from there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. And then I would be able to hang that up as a decoration. Anyway, I have fun making the corn. I like doing the corn. I think that's my favorite part. The husk, you just have to kind of play around with it to see what shape looks good. Like I said, how this kind of looks like girl's hair. And now that's all I can see. To me, this looks like corn with girl's hair on top. And it's not really supposed to look that way. But at least if you do the corn, and then if you didn't like the husk part, you could take it off and you could just hang up the corn instead. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I hope you had fun with all our art lessons, and I will see you hopefully next year. Have a great rest of the year. Bye.